My dear respected brothers and sisters,
every death is a lesson for us.
إنما المؤمنون إخوة. We have to be united.
Brothers and sisters, many of our brothers and sisters will be going to Hajj very soon. Their flight will be starting very soon. And it is very important that we will have our will for any kind of important safar, long safar we do. Even there is a hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is a duty of a Muslim who has anything to bequeath not to let 2 nights pass without including it in his will. So any kind of transaction you have, you need to write down always. If it is known without writing by your family, maybe okay. But if it is too much transaction, you have too much dealing with many other people, and once you die, people will claim so many amount of wealth, and your family will be confused. Is it true claim, or some people are taking advantage of our dad? They will be confused. If they go to pay, which is wrong claim, in the end, they themselves will be deprived by some cheaters. It didn't help them. But it is the true claim, and your children, your family don't pay, you will be in the problem in Akhirah. Both cases, you are big loser. In both cases, you are in trouble in Akhirah. Therefore, it is very important that you write how much you need to pay to the people and how much you get from the people. So the whole list is there. If it is too much, you need to write down. Don't leave 2 nights pass without writing it. And I have been involved in many cases. After death of the father, many people claim, and children are confused. That you need to pay because your dad owed to me this amount of money. And they are not sure. They are in trouble. If they don't pay, if it is genuine claim, their father in problem. If it is wrong claim, they will be unnecessarily paying to some cheater and they will be deprived. It's a real problem. Do we think this way? That seriously? It's a big issue. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't let 2 nights go without preparing this kind of list in your will. So this is one issue. Then we come to the second issue. It's not only for those going for Hajj, for anything in the life. You don't know when it will be called by Allah by sudden death. That's why it is always good to prepare. But once you go to Hajj, this is much more recommended that we do this way. Second thing is, some of the wasiyah of this important transaction is fard, is wajib. If not, it is very sinful, as you can see. Some of the wasiyah is recommended, not necessarily fard. Like you want to do some kind of charity, some kind of donation. Allah has given you a good amount of wealth. Do it, something, write down that I would like to make will of maximum 1/3 of my property for masjid, for madrasa, for the orphanage, for the poor, for the needy people, for any good cause. But don't do it more than 1/3. And leave the remaining for your family, your children. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is better that you leave your children well off, rather than giving so much of your inheritance as charity, and in the end they are becoming poor and begging to the people. So maximum nafal wasiyah is maximum 1/3. Again, another thing is, we do some transgression in the wasiyah, in the will. Like if you have you live your family, your children, your wife or your husband, your parents, Islamic Sharia, the Quran has categorically mentioned what is portion of the son, what is portion of the daughter, what is portion of your parents if they are alive, what is the portion of your wife or your husband if you leave behind. That is very clearly, categorically mentioned. You don't need to change it. You don't need to give somebody extra, somebody more, and depriving other. I found many cases, many of the parents sometimes do give, they love one child, they give him or her too much, and depriving other, not treating equally as the Quranic law. This is transgression. To give one more and deprive other one is big transgression. It is a kabira sin. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, maybe one of the father or mother, a man or a woman, will be very pious in whole life of 60, 70 years, so much righteous deed in the life, but before die commits transgression in the will, giving one of the inheritor too much and depriving others. By that he or she is dying, confirming the Jahannam for him or her. Confirming the Jahannam. Even other hadith suggests if somebody was maybe a wrongdoer, maybe not that righteous, but trying to do justice before dies in the matter of will and inheritance, maybe he or she is ending up to go to Jannah. So important. I see so many cases came to me. The parents, father or mother, given so much asset, big house to one of the children and depriving others. Especially those who bought the house, majority cases is ending up in the problem with the children. Who is getting more, who is getting less. And there is no insaf, there is no justice between children. It is one of the crimes, one of the major sins people don't know. They think, oh, they are my children. It's up to me. Whatever I can give to this, whatever I can give to that, is up to me. Not up to you. It is up to Allah. He mentioned all this in the Quran. And once you give this, it is a transgression against the hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be aware, Allah has given the right proportion to each of the inheritor. So la wasiyyata liwarith. Don't make any extra will, extra kind of wasiyah, bequest for any of the inheritors. They already are getting. Only you do wasiyah will to somebody who is deprived, maybe he is not given by the Quranic rule, but you want to do a favor. For example, if you are the grandfather or grandmother, your son or daughter died, leaving behind their children, your grandson or your granddaughters. They, of course, according to the Quranic law, they will be not getting any inheritance after your death. But you don't want to deprive them. It is very encouraged in the Sharia that you do some wasiyah will for them. Write down that my grandchild, my grandchildren will get this amount of wealth from the inheritance I am leaving. So, don't make it more than a third. Similar way for any charitable cause as mentioned earlier. So these are very important issues. Many of the Muslims, without knowing, committing major sins and going to die, making sure they are heading to Jahannam. May Allah forbid. So it's very important to know that. And in this country especially, where Islamic Sharia law of inheritance is not taken in consideration, English law of inheritance is very odd with Islamic Sharia law. If you have a house worth more than 225,000, more than that amount, there is a problem of dealing with this. So English law will not distribute in inheritance according to Sharia law. It's problematic. If you die without doing something, you are going to commit a sin. What is the solution? You can maneuver this law. You can work within the law, is English law. If you know the Sharia rules, to incorporate that and making a will, and properly through a solicitor, you do complete the process, there is a chance you can leave for your children. They are getting inheritance according to Islamic Sharia. So Islamic English law and Sharia law together to make some kind of inheritance distribution policy, it is possible if the solicitor knows that there are some expert solicitors in this country who will help you how to make an Islamic will which will be approved by English law. You need to know that and you need to do that. If you die without that, then you are in problem, your family will be in problem, and they will be disputing. And I found so many brothers and sisters are quarreling, they are in dispute, they cut the relationship with each other, and they are in fight for their own right. Who will be getting more, who will be getting less. So this is a big problem. It is not necessary for the Hujjaj, for all of us, that we need to be very careful of these important guidance of Sharia. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من الآيات والذكر الحكيم وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروا واتوبوا إليه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
ينبغي الإنسان يتأنى ويحكم بأحكام نصيبه لا تحس بالحيف لا منه النصف ناخذ ونعطيبه سوي